Buckle up, buttercups. It's about to get bumpy. The past few years have been a roller coaster ride for the global economy. We've been hit with a pandemic, supply chain chaos, and inflation that makes a gallon of milk look like a luxury item. And if you think things are settling down, they're not. Experts are whispering a scary phrase: global financial crash. So buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to take a deep dive into the wild world of economics. The economic tea leaves, reading between the lines. Let's look at some economic indicators that have experts sweating. First up, the stock market. It's a good barometer of investor confidence. Then we've got debt, national, corporate, global. It's like everyone's maxed out their credit cards. And let's not forget about employment rates. Job security is still shaky for many. When people feel uncertain about their jobs, they spend less, slowing down the economy. To understand if we're truly headed for a financial cliffhanger, we need to look back at history. History repeats itself. From tulips to subprime, we never learn. Humanity has a knack for repeating the same mistakes, especially with money. From the Dutch tulip mania to the dot-com bubble, history is full of financial bubbles that burst. The 2008 financial crisis was a slow-motion train wreck fueled by subprime mortgages and Wall Street greed. The patterns are there, and we should be paying attention to the warning signs. Smart people, scarier predictions. Even the sunniest economists are looking a tad overcast. Nobel Prize winners and Wall Street gurus are sounding the alarm. Some point to unsustainable debt levels, others to inflation spiraling out of control. Geopolitical instability adds to the mix: pandemics, wars, political drama. The fact that so many smart people are worried should tell us something. The Doom Squad versus the Sunshine Brigade. There's always that one optimist convinced the economy is about to boom. These economic Pollyannas point to technological innovation and market resilience. Humans are resourceful. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and even the Macarena. But even the most optimistic outlook must acknowledge the challenges. It's about being realistic, assessing risks, and preparing for a bumpy ride. The future is uncertain, but we can control how we react to it. Let's focus on what we can do to prepare. So, are we all screwed? Spoiler alert, maybe. Should we be running for the hills and cashing out our 401ks? Well, that depends. Panicking is probably not the best strategy. The global economy is influenced by many factors, but we're not powerless. Instead of panicking, let's focus on what we can control. Don't panic yet. Practical tips for weathering the storm. First things first, don't panic. Start by taking a good hard look at your finances. Do you have an emergency fund? Aim for at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Next, take a look at your debt. Consider consolidating or looking into balance transfer options. The goal is to reduce your monthly expenses and free up some cash flow. Channel your inner squirrel. Saving and investing like a boss. Saving money can be about as fun as a root canal, but it's about making smart choices. Start small. Even setting aside $10 or $20 a week can add up. Look for areas where you can cut back without feeling deprived. Once you've got a handle on your savings, think about investing. Investing is a long game, about growing your wealth over time. Talk to a financial advisor to create a diversified investment portfolio. Diversify, baby. Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is key to mitigating risk and protecting your cash. Spread your money across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, and real estate. Consider investing in your own skills and education. Building a solid financial foundation takes time and effort. By taking small, consistent steps, you can create a financial safety net. The crystal ball is broken navigating uncertainty. Predicting the future of the global economy is chaotic and unpredictable. Experts can't agree on what's going to happen next, but uncertainty is a constant, and we can't control everything. Instead of freaking out, let's focus on what we can do to prepare. We need the right tools, knowledge, and mindset to stay on course. From side hustle to main event, reinventing your income streams. Relying on a single source of income is risky. Diversify your income streams by exploring new skills and side hustles. Think about what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. The internet makes it easier to connect with potential customers and clients. Your side hustle might just turn into your main event, providing financial security. Keep calm and carry on, with a side of cash. We've been through tough times before and survived. Stay informed, stay prepared, and don't lose sight of the bigger picture. The economy might be wobbly, but it's not the end of the world. Use fear as motivation to take control of your finances and build a resilient future. And if all else fails, there's always the option of moving to a remote island with plenty of sunscreen and a good sense of humor. The Usual Suspects, Geopolitical Thriller Edition. All right, folks, let's talk geopolitics. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, I thought this was a show about the economy, not some Tom Clancy novel. But here's the thing. In today's interconnected world, you can't separate economics from geopolitics. They're like two sides of the same suspiciously stable Jenga tower. Think about it. Wars, pandemics, trade disputes, they all have a ripple effect on the global economy. Remember the energy crisis sparked by a certain Eastern European conflict we're all trying to forget? Yeah, that threw a wrench in the global supply chain that would make a mechanic blush. And let's not forget about the rising tensions between superpowers, each flexing their economic muscles like they're in a global game of economic arm wrestling. It's enough to make the Cold War look like a friendly game of badminton. The truth is, we live in a volatile world where political instability can quickly turn into economic turmoil. And while we can't control the actions of rogue nations or power-hungry dictators, we can be aware of the risks and prepare ourselves for the potential fallout. Now, let's talk about something a little closer to home: technology. It's the engine of progress, the source of countless conveniences, and the reason we can order pizza with the touch of a button. But let's be honest, technology can also be a real jerk to the economy. Think about it. Every time there's a major technological leap forward, it disrupts entire industries and leaves a trail of economic casualties in its wake. Remember the good old days of blockbuster video rentals? Yeah, neither do I. Thanks, Netflix. And now, with the rise of artificial intelligence, automation, and all sorts of other futuristic gizmos, the pace of disruption is only accelerating. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for progress, but we need to be prepared for the economic growing pains that come with it. That means investing in education and retraining programs to help workers adapt to the changing job market. It means supporting policies that foster innovation while also protecting those who might be left behind. And it means being open to new possibilities, even if they involve learning how to code or operate a robot barista. Although, I'll stick to my French press, thank you very much. Remember that old saying, it's a small world after all? Well, when it comes to the global economy, it's not just a saying, it's a terrifying reality. Thanks to globalization, our financial systems are so interconnected that a sneeze in Shanghai can literally give Wall Street a cold. Think about the recent pandemic. A virus emerged in a remote part of the world, and within months, it had brought the global economy to its knees. Supply chains were disrupted, businesses shuttered, and millions of people lost their jobs. And it wasn't just the pandemic itself that caused economic chaos. It was the ripple effect. A lockdown in China meant factories couldn't produce goods. A shortage of shipping containers meant products couldn't be transported. And a sudden surge in demand for toilet paper, seriously, what was that about, meant empty shelves and panicked shoppers. The point is, in today's hyper-connected world, What happens in one corner of the globe can have far-reaching consequences. And while we can't predict every economic tremor or financial earthquake, we can be aware of the interconnectedness of our systems and prepare for the inevitable aftershocks. Don't just sit there, do something, even if it's just eating ramen. Okay, I know we've covered a lot of scary stuff about the global economy. We've talked about potential crashes, geopolitical chaos, and robots stealing our jobs. Okay, maybe not the last one, yet. It's enough to make you want to crawl under a weighted blanket and binge-watch old episodes of Friends. The one with the blackout always makes me feel better. But here's the thing. Burying your head in the sand or a mountain of blankets won't make the problem go away. Remember that feeling of accomplishment after a good workout? Taking control of your finances is kinda like that, but instead of feeling the burn in your glutes, you feel it in your wallet. In a good way, I promise. So, what can you do? Well, for starters, educate yourself. There are tons of great resources out there. Books, podcasts, even YouTube videos. Who knew? That can teach you about personal finance, investing, and how to build a solid financial foundation. Next, take a hard look at your spending habits. Are you leaking money on things you don't need? Looking at you, monthly subscription to the Bacon of the Month Club. Could you be more mindful of your grocery shopping? Even small changes can make a big difference over time. The future is now, building a more resilient tomorrow. Look, I get it. Thinking about the future can be daunting, especially when the present feels like a dumpster fire fueled by inflation and political memes. But here's the thing. The future isn't something that just happens us. It's something we create. One choice, one investment, one ramen-fueled all-nighter at a time. Instead of fearing the unknown, let's embrace it. Let's use this moment of economic uncertainty as a wake-up call. A chance to rethink our priorities and build a more resilient future for ourselves and generations to come. Think of it like this. We're all in this together, like it or not. We're all part of this grand, messy, interconnected experiment called humanity. And while the future may seem uncertain, one thing is for sure, we have the power to shape it. By embracing innovation, investing in education, and working together to create a more sustainable and equitable world, we can navigate whatever economic storms lie ahead. So, let's raise a glass of tap water because inflation to the future. It may be a wild ride, but at least we'll be prepared. And hey, if all else fails, we can always start a band and play at the end of the world. I call dibs on lead guitar. So, is the sky falling? Spoiler, it's complicated. Alright folks, we've been on a wild ride through the ups and downs of the global economy. We've talked about warning signs, historical crashes, and enough expert opinions to make your head spin faster than a Wall Street stock ticker. So, the million-dollar question is a global financial crash imminent? Well, if I had a crystal ball that could answer that question definitively, I wouldn't be here talking to you lovely people. I'd be lounging on a private island, sipping something bubbly, and probably still complaining about the price of avocados. The truth is, no one knows for sure what the future holds. The global economy is a complex and unpredictable beast, influenced by a million different factors, from pandemics to politics to the price of tea in China. Seriously, don't underestimate the tea market. But here's the thing. Just because the future is uncertain doesn't mean we're powerless. We can't control global events, but we can control how we react to them. We can choose to be informed, prepared, and proactive, rather than paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. Think of it like this. You know that feeling when you hear a storm might be coming? You don't just sit there and wait for the lightning to strike. You batten down the hatches, stock up on supplies, and maybe even dig out that emergency weather radio you bought on a whim. Admit it, we've all been there. Preparing for a potential economic downturn is kinda like that, but with less duct tape and more spreadsheets. The moral of the story: knowledge is power, and maybe a little cash. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Well, for starters, it pays to be informed. Don't just rely on sensationalized headlines or doom and gloom predictions. Dig a little deeper, educate yourself about personal finance, and learn how to navigate the often confusing world of investing. Next, take a proactive approach to your finances. Build an emergency fund, pay down debt, and diversify your income streams. The more financially secure you are as an individual, the better equipped you'll be to weather any economic storms that come your way. But beyond the practical steps, there's a bigger lesson here: the importance of resilience, adaptability, and a healthy dose of skepticism. The world is changing faster than ever before, and the old playbooks no longer apply. We need to be willing to adapt, to learn new skills, and to embrace new ways of thinking about work, money, and the future. And hey, while we're at it, let's not forget the importance of community, compassion, and a little bit of humor to get us through the tough times. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, trying to make sense of this crazy, unpredictable world. And sometimes, a little laughter is the best investment of all.